Hey Libra, I need to share something with you today that might feel uncomfortable at first, but trust me when I say the universe has your back in ways you cannot even imagine right now. I have been pulling cards for you, and what came through is so clear, so direct, that I knew I had to sit down and talk to you about this. The energy around you right now is pushing you toward a massive shift, and honestly, it is one of the most profound transformations I have seen in the cards lately. So let me just get straight into it, because there is a lot to unpack here, and every single card that came through has something important to say about where you are headed. Grab your coffee or tea, get comfortable, because we are going deep into what the universe is orchestrating for you right now. The first card I pulled for you is Temperance, and wow, this card is so incredibly significant for what you are going through. You know, Temperance is all about balance, harmony, and finding that perfect middle ground, which is very much a Libra energy anyway, right? But here is what is fascinating about this card showing up for you right now. The universe is not just asking you to find balance, it is actually teaching you a completely new definition of what balance means. For so long, Libra, you have been the peacekeeper in your family. You have been the one who smooths over conflicts, who makes sure everyone else is okay, who sacrifices your own needs to keep the harmony intact. And Temperance is showing me that you have been pouring from your cup into everyone else's cups for years now, decades maybe, and your own cup has been running on empty. The angel in the Temperance card is pouring water between two cups, and what I am seeing here is that you have been doing all the pouring out, but nobody has been pouring back into you. The universe is removing you from your family dynamic, not as a punishment, but as a healing. You have been maintaining a false balance, one where you diminish yourself to elevate others, where you silence your own voice to avoid disrupting the peace. But that is not real balance, is it? Real balance means you get to take up space too. Real balance means your needs matter just as much as everyone else's needs. And Temperance is telling me that you are about to step into a completely new understanding of what it means to live in harmony. But this time, you are included in that equation. I am seeing that some of you might have been the mediator between your parents, or between siblings, or maybe you have been the emotional support system for family members who never learned how to regulate their own emotions. And you took on that role so young, so automatically, that you forgot it was never supposed to be your job in the first place. Temperance is showing me that the universe is gently but firmly removing you from that position because it is time for you to discover who you are when you are not busy managing everyone else's feelings and needs. The second card that came through is Judgment, and oh my goodness, this card is powerful. Judgment is about awakening, rebirth, and answering a higher calling. When I see Judgment in a reading like this, it tells me that you are experiencing or about to experience a massive wake-up call. This is not a gentle nudge, Libra. This is the universe sounding the trumpet and saying, enough is enough. It is time for you to rise up and step into your true purpose. What I find really interesting about Judgment showing up here is that this card is all about being called to account, about facing the truth of your situation without the rose-colored glasses. And for Libra, who often sees the good in everyone and wants to believe the best about people, this can be a really challenging energy to work with. But here is what the universe wants you to understand. Seeing people clearly, seeing your family dynamics clearly, does not make you a bad person. It makes you an honest person. Judgment is telling me that you are going through or will soon go through a period where the veil is lifting. You are starting to see patterns that you could not see before. Or maybe you saw them but you convinced yourself they were not that bad. You are recognizing behaviors that you normalized because you grew up with them, but now you are realizing, wait, this actually is not okay. This is not how healthy families operate. This is not how people who love each other are supposed to treat each other. And I want to be really clear about something here. This awakening, this clarity, it can feel really painful at first. It can feel like grief, like anger, like confusion. You might be asking yourself, why did I put up with this for so long? Why did nobody else see this? Why am I the one who has to change and create distance? But Judgment is reassuring you that this awakening is necessary. You cannot heal what you cannot see. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. And the universe is giving you the gift of clear sight right now because it is time for you to break free from patterns that have been holding you back for your entire life. I am also seeing with Judgment that some of you might be dealing with family members who are resistant to your growth. They liked you better when you were more compliant, when you did not have boundaries, when you were always available to meet their needs. And now that you are changing, now that you are speaking up or pulling back, they are uncomfortable. But here is the thing. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Their resistance to your growth says everything about them and nothing about you. The third card I pulled is Death. And I know, everyone gets a little nervous when they see the Death card. But please hear me out because this is actually one of the most liberating cards in the entire deck. Death is not about physical death. It is about transformation, endings, and radical change. It is about the complete closure of one chapter so that a new chapter can begin. And in the context of your family situation, Libra, this card is incredibly significant. Death is telling me that the version of you who existed within your family system, that version is dying. The role you played, the patterns you participated in, the dynamics you upheld, all of that is coming to an end. And this might feel scary because even when something is unhealthy, it is still familiar. Even when a situation is painful, it is still what you know. But death is reminding you that you cannot carry the old into the new. You cannot transform while still clinging to what no longer serves you. What I am seeing here is that the universe is orchestrating a complete dismantling of the old family dynamics. This might look like physical distance, like moving to a new city or spending less time at family gatherings. It might look like emotional distance, like realizing you cannot share certain parts of your life with certain family members anymore. It might look like energetic distance, like finally releasing the guilt and obligation that has kept you tethered to unhealthy relationships. However it shows up for you, death is telling me that this ending is absolute. There is no going back to how things were, and honestly, why would you want to? I am hearing the universe saying to you, I am removing you from this situation because I have something so much better waiting for you, but you cannot receive it if your hands are still full of the old. You cannot step into your power if you are still shrinking yourself to fit into a family dynamic that never had space for the real you anyway. Death is asking you to trust the process of letting go, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when other people do not understand, even when you feel guilty or selfish or unsure. And here is something really beautiful about the Death card. After every death, there is a rebirth. After every ending, there is a new beginning. The universe is not just taking something away from you, it is clearing space for something infinitely better. It is making room for authentic relationships, for genuine connection, for people who can meet you at your level and love you for who you actually are, not who they need you to be. Now, the fourth card is Five of Pentacles. And this one really hit me because it speaks to some of the core fears that might be coming up for you around this family separation. The Five of Pentacles traditionally shows two figures walking through the snow, passing by a warm, lit church, symbolizing feelings of exclusion, being left out in the cold, financial or emotional hardship. And I think this card is showing up to acknowledge the very real fear you might be experiencing right now. There is a part of you, Libra, that is terrified of being alone. There is a part of you that worries, if I set boundaries with my family, if I pull away from these relationships, will I end up isolated? Will I regret this? What if nobody else is there for me? What if I need them and I have pushed them away? These fears are completely valid and understandable, especially for Libra, who thrives on connection and partnership. But here is what the Five of Pentacles is really trying to tell you. The feeling of being left out in the cold, the feeling of lack and exclusion, you have already been experiencing that within your family dynamic. You have been standing outside looking in, trying to earn your place, trying to prove your worth, trying to be good enough to deserve love and acceptance. You have been in the cold for a long time, Libra. You just did not realize it because you were so focused on keeping everyone else warm. The universe is removing you from your family not to isolate you, but to show you that you have been isolated all along, just in a different way. You have been lonely in a crowded room. You have been unseen by people who claim to know you. You have been unheard by people who should be listening. And the Five of Pentacles is saying, it is time to stop standing outside that window, hoping to be let in. It is time to walk away and find your own warmth, your own light, your own sanctuary. I am also seeing with this card that some of you might be worried about practical concerns. Maybe your family has helped you financially, or maybe there are inheritances or family resources that you are afraid of losing access to. Maybe you worry about being excluded from family events or traditions. And listen, those concerns are real and they matter. But the Five of Pentacles wants you to understand that no amount of money or material security is worth sacrificing your mental health, your emotional well-being, your sense of self. The universe will provide for you in ways you cannot even imagine right now, but you have to be willing to walk away from situations that are costing you your peace. The fifth card is Four of Swords, and this card is all about rest, recovery, and strategic retreat. After everything we have talked about with the previous cards, all this transformation and awakening and letting go, the Four of Swords is showing up to remind you that you need time to process all of this. You need space to heal. You need permission to step back and take care of yourself during this transition. What I love about the Four of Swords appearing here is that it validates the need for withdrawal. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Sometimes the bravest choice is to simply remove yourself from the chaos and give yourself time to think, to feel, to integrate everything that is happening. And I know for Libra, who often feels guilty about prioritizing your own needs, this can be really challenging. But the Four of Swords is telling you that this rest period is not optional. It is essential. I am seeing that some of you might be feeling exhausted right now, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually drained. Years of managing family dynamics, of being the emotional caretaker, of suppressing your own needs, it has taken a toll on you. And the universe is saying, enough. It is time to lay down your sword. It is time to stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. It is time to retreat into your own space and allow yourself to recover. The Four of Swords is also about contemplation and gaining perspective. When you are in the middle of a storm, it is hard to see clearly. When you are constantly reacting to family drama, it is hard to think strategically about what you actually want and need. But when you create distance, when you give yourself time and space away from the intensity, that is when clarity comes. That is when you can finally hear your own inner voice, your own wisdom, your own truth. I want you to know that taking time for yourself, creating distance from your family, setting boundaries, none of this makes you selfish or cold or uncaring. It makes you wise. It makes you someone who understands that you cannot pour from an empty cup, that you cannot help others if you have not helped yourself first, that self-preservation is not selfishness, it is survival. The final card I pulled for you is Nine of Cups, and honestly, this card made me want to cry happy tears for you, because it is such a beautiful, hopeful, abundant card to end on. The Nine of Cups is often called the wish fulfillment card, the card of emotional satisfaction and getting your heart's desires. And after everything we have talked about, all the difficulty and transformation and letting go, the universe is showing you that there is something absolutely wonderful waiting for you on the other side of this transition. The Nine of Cups is telling me that when you remove yourself from family dynamics that do not serve you, when you stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you, when you finally prioritize your own emotional well-being and happiness, that is when you will experience true contentment. That is when you will understand what it feels like to be genuinely fulfilled, not just going through the motions or maintaining appearances, but actually happy from the inside out. I am seeing that the universe has so many blessings lined up for you, Libra. New relationships that are based on mutual respect and genuine care. Opportunities that align with your authentic self, not the role you have been playing for your family. Experiences that bring you joy without the underlying tension or obligation. The Nine of Cups is promising you that everything you have been longing for, all that emotional fulfillment and sense of belonging and feeling truly seen and valued, it is coming. But it can only come when you have made space for it by releasing what no longer serves you. What really strikes me about the Nine of Cups appearing here is that it represents emotional abundance specifically. This is not about material success or external validation. This is about feeling satisfied in your heart, feeling at peace with yourself, feeling like you finally have the emotional nourishment you have been craving for so long. And the beautiful thing is, when you are emotionally fulfilled, when you are at peace with yourself, everything else in your life starts to fall into place too. The universe is removing you from your family, not as a punishment or a loss, but as a gift. It is removing you from situations where you could never truly be yourself, where your light was dimmed, where your voice was silenced, where your needs were always secondary. It is removing you from patterns of people-pleasing and self-sacrifice that were draining your life force. It is removing you from relationships that took more than they gave, that demanded your loyalty without offering respect, that expected your love without providing safety. And yes, this process might be painful. Yes, you might feel guilt or grief or anger or confusion. Yes, there will be people who do not understand, who judge you, who try to pull you back into old patterns. But I need you to hear me when I say this. Your freedom is worth it. Your peace is worth it. Your authentic happiness is worth it. You are worth it. The universe sees you, Libra. It sees how hard you have tried, how much you have given, how often you have put others first, and now it is saying, it is your turn. It is time for you to receive. It is time for you to be held and supported and cherished. It is time for you to discover who you are when you are not constantly adapting to everyone else's needs and expectations. So, if you are going through this right now, if you are feeling that pull to create distance from your family, if you are experiencing that awakening where you suddenly see things clearly for the first time, please know that you are not alone. Please know that this is happening for you, not to you. Please know that the universe has your back and something so much better is waiting for you on the other side of this transformation. Trust the process. Honor your feelings. Take the time you need. Set the boundaries that feel right. And most importantly, believe that you deserve the emotional fulfillment and genuine happiness that the Nine of Cups is promising you. Because you do, Libra. You absolutely do.